Hello, TCI, Jonathan's Refuge, all our faithful friends and followers from around the world. We love you guys. Um, the opening line is, what do you do when you're out of gas? How do you take one more step when you have nothing left to give? It's a question I get asked a lot. It's a question I ponder a lot. Just when you think you have the answer, and I think I know the answer, I get asked that question again, and then I go, wow, do I really know the answer? What makes you go? So I have to look to the toughest times that I've gone through and some of my experiences. And right now I'm going through that. I'm struggling. On the outside, you see a smile. And when I'm with you, I mean, I can put on this face that no, but you got to understand something, folks. I literally spent a greater part of 40 years minus the first 6. So 34 years of my life has been spent in acquiring knowledge and tools that would allow me to help lead you to where I need you to go. Get my results. I have spent all of these years and the last 8 on top. So now we're looking at, gosh, think about that. It's amazing. That's 43 years. Studying my life, how to overcome obstacles. How do you go and take a step when you don't have it? I think of the mountain that often because I spend a lot of time in the mountains. But for those, you follow my case, I have some bad heart and health problems, stomach problems, and other issues. And so my body is not reacting properly. And so after enough tests and they've got the right medications dialed in, they're not going to do my surgery for me because my heart's not strong enough. So that's that. It is what it is. And I'm used to that. So it doesn't take and help. Just because I'm used to it doesn't help. I've been through it, so I'm a little stronger this time around because I've gone through it once, twice, 3, 4 times. Get used to it. You get stronger. You can go through it easier and take other people through it with you. Help them get through it. But how do you do it? Because like right now, at sea level, on a perfect day, my body's sleeping 12 hours right now. I'm running my companies from a couch in my office. It's not an exciting way to live. Keep in mind it's temporary. It's a minute space of time in my life because I won't last at this space long. My body will find a solution and I will overcome it. But until then, I go on the trail. I go back on the trail in just a few days. Tuesday or Wednesday next week, we're back on trail. Tuesday next week, we're back on trail. How am I going to do that? I don't know. I don't. One step, one breath. That's how you overcome the mountain. One step, one breath. But how do you do it? Well, let's talk about that. What's your why? What is your why? When you wake up in the morning, what gets you to wake up? What makes you, what is the drive that makes you go to work and work 9 to 5, Monday through Friday at a career, grinding it out? What is the why that you do things? Sometimes we'll say it's my spouse. I go to work so I can take care of my family. That's a pretty common thing heard. My why for losing weight. What is your why for losing weight? That's a great question. For me, it's about living a healthy lifestyle so that I can be around for a long time for my family and friends. That's my why. I love my family so much. I want to spend a ton of time with them. So I need to be proactive in my health. That's my why for why am I working out so much? Why do I work on my nutrition so much? Why did I go get a degree in nutrition? Why did I do all these things? to better my health? And why am I always going and bettering my health? Why do I see multiple doctors, Western medicine doctors, Eastern medicine doctors, and then the high end, secret, ultra hard to get into doctors in the world, and that ultra rich have access to, that is now coming available to you in thousands of years and cures so many things. And then Eastern medicine that has been around for thousands of years and has cured so many things and still can. And then Western medicine. So when you tie it all together, why do I work so hard? Well, it's because I love my family so much. Why do I ferociously go after building Jonathan's Refuge and GCS, our nonprofit, TCI, our church? It's because I have had such scary, horrifying, painful experiences, nightmarish life that I've had to live through. That allows me to understand someone's needing a refuge, because I needed a refuge. So my why is so that no one has to suffer like I did. So that no one has to go through that pain that I went through, that abuse, violence. I can't stop the past, but I can assure someone if they come to Jonathan's Refuge, we're going to take care of them here. It ain't easy. It isn't a free ride. Make no mistake. But we'll take care of you. You're not going to get hurt. You're going to have a home. You're going to be safe. And you're going to grow. We're going to push you. We're going to provoke you to grow. That's my why. Because I was beaten senseless at 7. This whole side of my face was shattered, all the bones. Every rib on this side of my body, except for the bottom one, was broken. At 7. Sadistic man. Elder of the church, my dad's church. One of the largest churches in America. It's okay. Whatever, right? It's painful, those experiences. Then you flash forward to that time when I ran away, was kidnapped, escaped, jumping out of an 18-wheeler. That whole nightmare. I can go on and on with my whys. I have deep whys. What's your why? What is it? What keeps you up at night on a good way? That's your why. See, I have stuff tattooed on my body. Hashtag live positive. This is a motto. This is embedded in just, it's so part of who I am. It's not even put into me anymore. Some people say that it's actually acquired knowledge, a positive attitude. It's me. I am the positive attitude. It is me. I am it. We are one. Does that mean I'm not negative? Actually, I'm Mr. Negative also. I'm an oxymoron. But you find your why. You have to find it. Because right now, if I didn't have a why, I'd probably throw in the towel. Because the struggle is physically, it's brutal. It doesn't make me smile. Those aren't fake tears in my eyes right now. I don't cry often. You have no understanding. The majority of the people I speak to have no understanding of the magnitude of my pain that I suffer. And yet I refuse to stop. So I'll be back on the Pacific Crest Trail. Mountain Man's coming back, baby. Trying from north to south. We'll see if we can do it this way. We couldn't go from south to north. Let's see if we can go from north to south. If that doesn't work, we're going to section hike it. We'll get it done. In the spring, the winter, we're heading off to do our training for Denali. That training would be its own expedition by itself. We're going to be doing Mount Rainier in the winter, in storms, which is brutal and deadly and dangerous. But that's training for Mount Denali, which is even more dangerous than some of the biggest mountains in the world, like Everest and others like it. It's a lot harder than a lot of the biggest mountains. And it's one of the biggest, the tallest in the North American continent. And there I go. I'm going off to that in May 25th or so next year. So how do I find the energy inside to do that? How do I fight cancer? How do you fight tumors? How do you fight coming back from a divorce, a separation of a partner? How do you fight the loss of a child, the loss of a company, the loss of your name, your reputation? You got to have a why. It's got to be deep. It's got to be strong. It's got to be rooted into your spirit, your soul, your heart, your mind, your body, your soul, everything wrapped in it. It is you and you are it and we are one. Your why has to be all wrapped up in you. And then I promise you, you don't fail. You might fail at a process, but you'll find another way. I failed at trying to go from Mexican border to the Canadian border. That's called snowboat, northbound. My heart gave out from the temperatures. I didn't calculate the temperatures. I didn't fully understand that my body would not make it. And most people knew it wouldn't, but I don't accept. I got to go try. So off I went and tried. It didn't work. Okay, let's go another section. Too much snow still in that part of the trail. Okay, let's wait for the thaw. We'll head from the north to south, and we'll go with the Sobos and go southbound. And then you got to deal with, if you can get through that, if the heart can maintain that, and you can get through the Sierra before the winter chill. So there's a lot of ways to overcome it. If that doesn't work, you section it off and do it in sections over 2 years, and you get it done still. What's my point? You only can accomplish things like that in your life if you have a strong why. And my wife today left to go see our children and grandchildren and some family members and facilitate bringing over a cousin and stuff who works for our company. And we want to spoil her and bless her. And, as my wife was leaving, she left, and I kind of go into the office, and I'm sitting here and I'm looking around, and it's quiet. And I call for Belle, Princess Belle, our therapy dog and our lead therapy animal, and she's gone too. She's with mom, and the quietness sits in. And I have an itinerary. I got to go to church and prepare a message, and I'll be there with the men tonight, and then this weekend, and some events that I got to do, and some boating stuff, and motorcycle stuff, and some fun things. And I got classes and training classes I got to do on Friday and Saturday. Lots of training tomorrow and Saturday. So I can get some certifications and stuff. But it took me a second because the energy, it was so hard. And I thought, sometimes I think people feel like there are superhuman people out there. My friend Tony Robbins, people think he's a superhero. He's not. He suffers just like you and me. He has pain just like you and me. He has immense wealth that he acquired by working harder than anybody I know. Not because he was lucky, because he was determined, because he refused to settle for anything other than what he wanted. But people think he's superhuman. Or maybe you look at an athlete like a Michael Jordan and you say, "This just, man, Michael Jordan." Or Jerry Lucas, one of my family, friends, famed NBA Hall of Famer, twice inducted into the Hall of Fame. One of the, not just because of his talent in NBA, winning an NBA championship, but he also won the Ohio State championship in the NCAA, and then went on to win the gold medalist for the Olympic team for the U.S. So the three, triple crowner for that, which is like, woo! And he's in the all-time Hall of Famer. Those are the top 50 players of all time. People think he's just a superstar, he's a Superman, a superhero. I asked him every day. His son and me are best friends. So I'd speak to his dad because they'd alternate picking us up. 1 week would be his dad's turn. Next week was our parents' turn. And we'd all drive each other's kids home. And we went to the same academy. And I remember Mr. Lucas, Jerry. I still call him Mr. Lucas. Mr. Lucas, Jerry. He ended up, he said, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I said, "An NBA basketball player." And he kind of laughed at me, not in a bad way, but I could see the smirk. He's like, "Okay, that's good." He says, "Now you do understand, your dad's like 5'9", 5'8". The odds are you're going to be a short guy. You might get an inch more than your dad. And I did. I settled in at 5'10". So, he's like, there's plenty of guys out there. Spud Webb at the time was one of the big guys in the NBA. He was a point guard. He was one of the players for the Atlanta Hawks, a team I really liked a lot when I lived in Atlanta. Matter of fact, the year I was in Atlanta in the 80s, he was there. So you could be short and still be a very successful star. But he started to explain what it would take. He's like, first thing you can't miss three-pointers. That's going to be your money shot. You're going to be out there. They're going to throw you the ball, and you're going to get your shot off because you're not going to get inside. If you try to think you're going to maneuver inside, sure, it'll happen from time to time. You can get quick and good at it and maneuver, but those are going to be your assists. where you're really going to make your money from a guy with your height is your 3-pointers and getting fouled, because you're going to get fouled all day long. So getting fouled, drawing the fouls, getting beaten when you go into the paint, picking up the free throws, and then you can make a career out of it. So I was like, okay, there's my game plan. And he's like, so you need to start with doing 1,000 free throws a day. And I'm like, wait, 1,000 free throws a day? Free throw shots. Yeah. And then go to that 3-point line and do 200 in this corner, do 200 shots in this corner, and do 200 in this corner, and do 200 in this corner, and 200 into that corner. And if you can commit to that, I'm like, wait, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So that's another 1,000 shots that, yeah, he's like, you're going to be taking your whole day is going to be shooting a ball in your life. And if you do that, you might get lucky enough to get a college scholarship. And if you can prove your worth, you might get a chance to sit on a bench someday. And I was like, wow, it takes a lot of work. So I say all that to tell you, for me to get up off the couch, to get out of the bed, it's a production. You know, when I go and speak somewhere at a company, or and I go speak for an event, and I have to throw on the suit and put on the makeup, right? Put on all the rings and give them the beast. Show up and teach knowledge. What's what I passionately love to do. And it takes an army to get me to do it because of my health. It's depressing. Oh my God. Hey, I'm gonna tell you a little secret. I'm not let anybody else in on this. But this stuff is depressing. Badly. I deal with, you've heard me say this before, Abe Lincoln depression, I call it. That grave, deep depression. The kind of stuff that most people would just call it quits with. How do I overcome it? My why. So get to know what your why is. I have multiple whys, and you're going to need more than one to get through this world. What is your why for getting in shape, losing weight, staying healthy? What is your why? What is your why to get your finances in order so that you can start having finances, so that you're not, sitting here at the end of your life going, I wonder how I'm going to retire. What's your why to spend time with your family? What's your why for going to work every day? What is your why for getting up? And if you can't come up with these whys, then you need to seriously sit down and get yourself a mentor and then really hammer out what is your why. It is something no one can answer but you. A mentor can just help kind of guide you and say, hey, listen, if you go over here, you might find your why. If you go over here, you might find your why. Check out these two little areas, because we've been down the road before. So we kind of know how to search for it because we found our whys. And then you're like, oh, that's a sign of those are why signs, and those are why signs. And when you said that was a why sign. So I can point out that might be a why for you. And it gives you a kind of like a dog. I can give you a bone to hunt. Go hunt that direction on that bone and see if it shows up. Listen, I love you guys. Keep it under 20. Happy 4th of July. As you guys are celebrating this week, the 4th of July, the Independence Day in America, right? We're celebrating the day that we overthrew the British government, the king, the rule of the monarchy over us as a country, a nation. And we were born as a free United States of these United States, the Americas, united as one. And I want us as humans to remember something that we need to do. We need to be united as one in ourselves. United body, mind, and spirit, soul. Body, mind, and soul. Body, mind, and spirit. We must be one with all that we are if we're going to make it through this successfully. So pay attention to you. Take time to do stuff for you this week, today, this weekend. Enjoy this holiday. I know a lot of you taking 4 days. Get out there and have fun with it. Enjoy the family, the hot dogs, the hamburgers. Go walk a few extra miles to work it off. Burn off the extra calories from all the sugars that we shouldn't have had. And go enjoy yourselves. But make sure you find out what your why is. I love you guys. God bless.